one conversation that would have like cleared everything up. Don't piss me off.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Kareen. Valentine's Day is bearing upon us. I figured in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we would read some romance books. But not just any romance books. There are two romance books specifically. Since I've been like heavily involved in booktube, there are two books that won't leave me alone. So I'm gonna read them. We're gonna read them. We're gonna read them. We're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna decide like what is all the fuss about? What's going on? Those two books are People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry and Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. At the end of it, we're gonna rate them on a few different scales. The first scale is we're just gonna rate overall, how was it? Was it a good book? Did I have a good time? The second scale we're gonna rate it on is for the actual romance. Did we buy into the relationship between the two main characters? Did we even want them to end up together? And then third, we're gonna rate it on the spiciness, the sex scenes. How were they? Were there enough? Don't be shy. I know you were wondering, and I'm going to tell you. So before we jump in, let's just very briefly talk about what each book is about. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Two characters, Alex and Poppy, who are lifelong friends. For 10 summers, they've gone on a summer trip together. But on their last summer trip, something went horribly wrong, and they haven't spoken since. And although since then Poppy has achieved so much in her life and her career, she comes to the realization that the last time that she was truly happy was when she was with Alex on vacation. So in a last-ditch effort to snatch him back into her life, she plans one final summer trip and then Get a Life, Chloe Brown. After a near-death experience, Chloe Brown comes to the realization that she doesn't have enough spontaneity in her life. She's suffered with chronic pain, and so she's kind of developed an intense system of structure to protect herself. But she's had enough. She moves out of her family's glamorous mansion and into an apartment complex with the rest of us normies. There she meets the superintendent, Redford, and he is everything that she goes against. He's rugged, he has tattoos, he has a motorcycle, and as popular media would have us believe, that is a recipe for disaster. Nothing to get from those guys but heartbreak and hep C. But Chloe gets Red's help in trying to rebel against her old way of living and finally find some more joy and spontaneity in her life. All right, let's start the books. Come on, Blue. Come on, baby. Come on.
So we are 97 pages into People We Meet on Vacation. I'm reading it on my little e-reader. I don't believe that you guys have met yet. I think it's called the Kobo Libra H2O. I picked this e-reader. This isn't sponsored, by the way, but you already knew that because I have like 12 subscribers. But I picked this because the app that my library uses, other e-readers aren't compatible with that app, but I read so many books from my ebook library, so this was the guy that fit, and I love it. I totally recommend it. It like adjusts to the light that you're in, and it has a papery kind of look. It doesn't look like you're looking at a screen. It looks like you're just reading a page that has natural backlight. Back to the actual book. I'm not sure how I feel about this so far. I'm reading about Alex and Poppy, who are just two totally different people. Alex, who's the male counterpart of this couple, he's so careful and anxious and persnickety. Poppy, who's the female counterpart of this relationship, she's whimsical and doesn't want to be tied down to anything. She loves traveling. Her job requires her to be in random cities all over the world at the drop of a hat. So the story is told in two timelines. We have our current timeline where Alex and Poppy are going on their reunion vacation, and then we also have Poppy giving us snippets of how their previous vacations have gone. And so we're watching their relationship form and unfold from the time that they're like in college and all of their vacations up to now, while we're also finding out how this current vacation's going. The writing is great. I like Poppy as a character. I think what I'm not getting on board with is that I don't see how they fall in love. I don't know what that love is built on. They're just two totally different people. Like, they have nothing in common except for like a very specific weird sense of humor that Poppy has all the time and Alex only has some of the times when he's with her. They both have different values, they both want different things out the future, and the way that they interact with each other for so much of this is very brother-sister. For me, they just feel like two platonic pals, and I like that. Like, at this point, I'm kind of rooting for them to just be BFFs. I don't know if like a relationship is what they need. Is this even a romance story? Did I just... No, it definitely is. Oh my god. Did I play myself? Did I play you? This is. I think it's just a slow burner. So for right now, the relationship is definitely giving ho-hum, but I definitely, I mean, I'll obviously keep reading this because I'm already in the video, but I also have to keep reading this because I really want to know what they fell out about. Like, the point of the story is that they were best buds. Something happens and they fall out for 2 years after. Like, I'm so curious. Nosy is more like it. Like, what's the beef? What happened? That curiosity is actually like the driving force between why I want to pick this up so badly. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what that is. But overall, like, I am enjoying it. Like, I am enjoying it. And Henry does an excellent job of giving us a lot of very sweet and intimate moments between the friends that feel realistic. Like, it's never like they're together and everything's all swell and all good and nothing's ever awkward or uncomfortable. Like, we get a lot of that. We get a lot of the friendship that they have. We also get moments where, you know, tensions are high. And so I do commend Henry for that. So I'm gonna read a little more and then I'll give you some more updates. Why didn't you stop me from making a fool of myself? I'm on page 159 and it's so late and I should definitely be going to sleep, but I can't rest because I need Alex and Poppy to be together so bad. I do. So since we last spoke, like, obviously more of the story has unfolded. We're still getting a lot of those flashbacks to prior vacations, which reveal so much about Alex and Poppy's friendship. We're also obviously getting more of the current timeline when they're on their potentially last vacation together, or at least the one where they're trying to reconcile. And just like, this relationship just has so much depth that I didn't see coming. You know how you say you love your best friend, and I'm sure that you love your best friend. I love my best friend. But this love, this kind of love, like, this is like, I can't even describe it. Like, they're just so connected to each other at the core, at their foundations. The love that they have is just like, it just, I don't know, it just like touches my heart. And I didn't see it coming because I just read like 60 or so more pages and all of this happened. And now I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. Like, I didn't know I was gonna feel this way. This is shaping up to be like one of my favorite romances that I've read. Like, Henry she just covers the whole spectrum of a relationship that I'm just very much impressed by this. Still less than halfway, so we have a lot to go. So far, I'm getting where the hype's at. So I'm on the floor because I'm supposed to be packing. This is my suitcase, and right now I'm supposed to be filling it with things to go on a little weekend trip for Valentine's Day. We're staying pretty local because, I mean, of world events. And I thought I was gonna get a jump start on packing tonight because I am notorious for budgeting out like a certain amount of time to do something, more than enough time to do something like packing or getting ready, and then swirling myself into like a little anxiety tornado so that I'm doing a lot of stuff and I'm walking up and down and I'm getting things done, but I'm also getting nothing done at all. You know that feeling? So I'm supposed to be starting tonight. Also, I did my nails for the weekend. I did them myself and they're super cute because they're long. The downside is I'm constantly typing and I'm a YouTuber, allegedly. And I'm like, you know, I gotta edit, so it's a lot of also like... this has all been a really long way of saying that I'm procrastinating. Like, that's the point, I'm procrastinating. I'm sitting on the floor with the suitcase procrastinating. But with you guys, according to my little handy dandy e-reader. I'm on page 242 of 327, but I don't think that the book actually goes to page 327. I think it goes to like 300. So I have like 60 to 70 pages left. Last we spoke, I felt so differently about Alex and Poppy than I did in the beginning. I don't know, I think I'm kind of teetering back. I think I'm kind of falling back. I'm not so sure that I'm as in love with them as a couple. And I think a lot of that has to do with Alex. I can't get a read on him. He's a mystery to me. That bitch is elusive. Like, I'm trying to understand how he feels about Poppy, and I can't tell because Alex goes through these periods where he's so lukewarm towards her. So I'm kind of getting that vibe that maybe he's kind of into her, but holding back. And I don't know if I love that for Poppy. I feel like if she should just find a man that's into her and like wants to be very upfront with the fact that he's into her. I don't like these games we're playing. But then again, to be fair to Alex, I don't know what went on in their like one summer. That's still a mystery even at this point. Like, I don't know why they stopped hanging out in the first place. I don't know what went wrong, but the way that they're building this up, like it's got to be something pretty intense because I've endured like 8 summers by now. And that tension of like wanting to find out what's happening, it's that same tension you get when you're reading a mystery book and you're like frantically flipping to find out who the murderer is. But with all the waiting we've done, it better be a good reason, because if it's a silly reason, I'm gonna be pissed. Hello, happy Valentine's Day. This is my new pal Sean. That's the name he came with, Shaun. Showed up just in time for the holiday as a very sweet gift. And he's great. We're just currently working out like a payment plan for him to pay rent to stay here. So I wanted to do a little update on Get a Life Chloe Brown because we are 120 pages in. I waited a little longer to talk about this one because people we meet on vacation taught me that it takes me a minute to get into like romance couples and get to know them as people. But I guess this like kind of also applies for any book that you read. But it takes me a minute to like get into the characters, get into the couple. So now I feel like we're at the point where we're far enough in the story that I can give like a good opinion on how I think it's going. Chloe Brown suffers from fibromyalgia, and that comes with persistent and consistent chronic pain. We've learned so far that Chloe's disability has kind of isolated her from her, well, no, she hasn't been isolated from her friends. Her friends have abandoned her, is what I should say. Because of that, she has some really deep-seated emotional insecurities. She struggles to let people in. She's kind of gotten used to the idea of being by herself. At least she thinks. She decides to create this list of things that she's going to do so she can feel like she's wringing all of the potential out of her life. One of the first things she does is get an apartment in the building where our love interest, Redford, works as a superintendent. Red himself is a semi-retired artist, but mostly just on a hiatus because he was previously in signs point to as an abusive relationship with a woman who kind of destroyed his will. Right now, they've obviously met and formed some kind of tentative acquaintanceship. There's sweet little banter. There's definitely a sexual attraction between the two of them. And where we are so far, Chloe has just enlisted Red's help in working on her list. I don't have any really solid opinions on it yet. It seems like a very sweet, wholesome story. I don't think anything yet is like jumping out at me. It's not like I'm hooked on it. I am enjoying it, and I expect to keep enjoying it, but I haven't as of yet established any kind of deeper connection to the book. I hope you had a lovely Valentine's Day. And if you didn't have anybody to be your Valentine, I will certainly be your Valentine. I will expect flowers, chocolates, and a diamond necklace in the mail. And in exchange, I will give you that kiss. Just a kiss though. We're not going any further. I'm a good Christian woman. I mean, first things first, I have to say congratulations to Miss Chloe Brown because red? And you know what? She deserves it. She really does because she's been through the ringer. Miss Talia Hibbert, our author, has done exactly what she needed to do with this book. And I mean, I'm only on page 270, and I think that other romance authors should take notes. If you're a romance writer or you want to be a romance writer and you're trying to find like the right blend of romance and spice, I think Miss Hibbert has cracked the code. She has the formula. You need to go pick it up at her house. But we'll talk more about that later. What I said before about this book, I think it was completely accurate. I think I have like around 100 pages left. It's very sweet. This book really tells the story of two people who have encountered so much selfishness in their personal relationships, who are so worthy of love, but haven't really come across any romantic partners who meet the basic standard for how to treat someone with kindness. And I think that Hibbert does a good job of showing exactly the gaps that each of these characters have. Forgive the cheesy analogy, but kind of like two puzzle pieces that fit together. Two people who were lacking a specific quality in a partner and were able to find it in each other. What they're able to give each other emotionally and physically just feels very meaningful. I don't know if I'm like as emotionally tied to the story. I still kind of view it through like the fluffy romance lens. The book doesn't feel deep. It feels romance genre deep. I mean, to be fair, I probably just feel this way because I'm so used to reading romance books where the two main characters are like the worst people you've ever met. I'm like, wow, this is a person who's dealing with a lot, but they're still nice. They still have common decency. What does this mean? 1 second. I ordered this comforter set yesterday or I think the day before. So I've obviously been obsessively checking the tracking information to see when it's gonna get here. As soon as I place the order, I'm like, okay, where is she? It's coming tomorrow. You guys have seen like clips of my room before. I've recently kept my room like pretty neutral in color and not too much decor because back when my anxiety was giving me a tougher time, it was too much stimulation. But I've been feeling like really good recently, which hooray for personal growth. And so now like the bare white walls and the white furniture that used to bring me so much inner peace now makes me feel like I'm in an asylum. And so I'm trying to add like some spruces of color, kind of like almost redecorate. Not too much because I am moving into an apartment this year. So to start, we ordered a comforter. And okay, I'm gonna post a picture. I'm sorry, I know that you came here for the updates on the book and we're gonna get to that, but I'm gonna post a picture of the comforter that I ordered. My best friend roasted me over this comforter. I thought it was a cute like little lavender garden moment. What do you guys think? Be honest, because I can return it if we hate it. We are officially finished People We Meet on Vacation and Get a Life Chloe Brown. I told you guys that we were going to rate these not only for how they were overall as books, but we were also going to independently rate the romance and the physical intimacy aspects. And I have two little scales that I want to do that on because I just have the most fun making scales apparently. So from bottom to top, our tiers for the romance are Better Off Besties. I didn't think that they necessarily had to be together. In our middle tier, we have When's the Wedding? I loved this relationship. I thought it was adorable. I thought that the two characters worked really well together. They probably didn't like wow me, but they definitely had some solid chemistry. Our highest tier is Can We Make a Throuple? Which is basically like When's the Wedding, except I loved this couple so much I want to be in the wedding. I want to be one of the spouses. And then on the opposite, we have our physical intimacy tiers. At the bottom, we have, what is this, a convent? Self-explanatory. In the middle, we have mild sauce. Mild sauce. Like when you order wings and you ask like what kind of sauce you want, you order mild. Yes, I'm comparing romance to wings. It works, both bring joy. There was flavor. It probably wasn't like as spicy as it could have been, but it was definitely flavor packed. And at our highest tier, we have You Can't Bring This Book Into a Church. That's the one I like. Let's talk about the books. So first we read People We Meet on Vacation. I thought that this was going to be a 5-star read. I liked watching their interactions over the years, especially from Poppy's point of view, watching her affections for Alex develop from like purely friendship. I don't even know if I even want to get to know this guy, all the way to falling in love with him, the fun that they had, the chemistry that they had. And I think that a lot of the dialogue between Alex and Poppy felt so natural. These are two people who know each other insanely well, but they still have the capacity to hurt each other. It's not all just like pink roses all the time. I thought this was going in a great direction. And then the ending hit. Like the last, I don't know, like 60 pages, like that ruined the book for me. I just thought it evolved into something that was so melodramatic. The inevitable misunderstanding that comes in the third act of the romance books that every romance book I've read has. I just didn't buy it. Like, I just think that after all this time, for them to have issues over this reason was silly. Just so... It didn't give me the same emotional maturity that the rest of the book had. Also, I have a bone to pick with Miss Henry, because this whole time I was fervently reading this book, wanting to find out what happened in their relationship to make them not speak to each other for 2 years. Flipping page after page after page, wanting to get to the crux of it all. And then I found out, and it was a horrible reason. A reason that could never have warranted two grown-ass people to not talk to each other for the next 2 years. Like, that does not make sense. They shared so much emotional intimacy over the years, diving deep into each other's psyches, divulging all these like really dark secrets to each other, and you're telling me that they couldn't have a basic conversation? One conversation that would have like cleared everything up? Don't piss me off. So before I give you my final rating, let's break down each of our sub ratings. Romance, I give this, I think I give this Better Off Besties. It's not that I disliked the idea of Alex and Poppy being together, but towards the end, it just revealed so much immaturity between the two of them that made me think like, I don't know. Like, is this actual love, or is this just like some form of codependency? Is it, I can't live without you because we've been friends for so long? Or is it, I can't live without you because like I'm in love with you? And it sucks because I was definitely when's the wedding for so much of it, but then man, that last act just kind of blew it down right back to Better Off Besties. And then as for the physical intimacy, mild sauce. I think we got like maybe one good scene and then maybe like a couple minor scenes sprinkled here and there, but nothing to write home about. All in all, I did really love most of this book, and I can't discount that. Even though I didn't agree with how the end went down, I can't discount the fact that I devoured this. I loved so much of it. I really admired the depth of Alex and Poppy's relationship, and I think that Henry did an excellent job with that. So I gave this 3.5 stars. Still an excellent rating, but should have been 5. And then finally we have Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This came so highly recommended by so many booktubers and so many people I know on Goodreads. It didn't disappoint. I loved this. It was exactly what I imagined it was going to be. It was a very cozy, soft, comfort romance. It went by pretty quickly. I loved seeing their interactions. I liked seeing their flirtation. Chloe and Red were just super sweet people. This is the first romance I've read where I liked the characters all the time. Like, I never thought like, here goes this dumbass again. I was always rooting for them individually as well as a couple. I don't really have much critically to say. I think it fell a little bit again into that third act trap where they're like, okay, this relationship is so great that we have to find some way to break it so the reader cares enough to continue reading the story till the end. Just a little bit though. Like, I could have gone either way on the final conflict. I could see why some people might think it was like a little much. As I'm playing it in my head, I also thought like, this is kind of realistic. I can totally see a couple having this fight. So yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good, fluffy romance book. For the relationship, definitely a high when's the wedding. High when's the wedding. I think that Chloe and Red exhibited a lot of maturity in their relationship. They had a lot of open conversations, really always treated each other with respect. It felt very genuine, and it's been a minute since I've had an unproblematic couple to stand. Most of the fiction couples I read about, at least one of them's like kind of a train wreck. And so this was a change of pace, but it was a good change of pace. And as for the physical intimacy, You can't bring this book into a church. The scenes were excellently interspersed throughout the book. I thought they were so well done. I'm not ashamed to say I was blushing for so much of it, and everything felt like natural, like nothing was over the top, nothing made me roll my eyes. I thought that they were good, steamy moments. And for me, like, this is the blueprint. And to be fair, like, I'm not well versed in the world of romance, but for me, this is like the gold standard. This is what I'm looking for. So overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. So that is it. That is the video. We read our romance books, and I can safely say that at this point, like, I get it. I get why people were so hung up on these books. If there are any other romance books that you guys really love and you want me to read it, or you hated it, and you also really want me to read it, or you're not really sure if you want to read it and you want somebody to kind of like test drive it first, let me know. I'll read it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you have a lovely day. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Bye!